Is it on?
Yeah.
Hey there, Vanagon addicts. It's Ken Wilford here at Vanagon. Today we're going to do something real simple, hopefully real quick. Changing out an alternator belt. Let's move down to the van right here. You can see this is just your normal waterboxer layout. This is your alternator. This is the belt. You can kind of see it's very loose. Okay, we've also got some really looseness in our air conditioning belt, and we also have, power steering belt feels about right to me. But say you're broke down the side of the road, your alternator belt is broken, or something bad has happened. How do you replace it? So that's what we're going to do here. And so the first thing we need to do is start loosening stuff up. Basically, you want to start with your power steering. Now, some of you guys might not have this because you have an older van that doesn't have power steering. You can just ignore this part completely, okay? But you want to loosen this bolt here on the power steering. I should have got a different wrench because this one's a ratchet one and it's kind of goofed up. But basically, if you loosen this particular one here, okay, you don't have to take it out. Just want to do a few turns with it. You can normally move this over without too much effort. And then you can try to turn it off of there or get it off of there. Okay, so I got that off, okay. That was not that hard. Now, this belt goes around, on the 2.1, it goes around this hose right here. So if you're not replacing this, you just want to push it over to the side and out of the way. Because otherwise, it's going to make you remove this hose. Alright, so that's phase one. Phase two is removing loosening up the AC belt. So what we've got on that, I don't know if you can get a good look at it, but here and here on this bracket, okay, there are bolts. You have to break them loose. Now again, some of you guys have older vans that do not have air conditioning. Again, this was going to be way easier for you. But basically, you're just going to loosen these two bolts right here. I should have got a different thing. Let's see. No, that's right. Just going to loosen them up. Okay. Oh my gosh, all this stuff is so tight. And you're going to run into this in real life, believe me. Super duper tight. By the way, this is 13 millimeter. All these bolts that we're working on are 13 millimeter on this. Alright, let me set this thing to stun. We don't want to set it to kill, Set this phasers to stun only. That's on loose. Man. We had apparently Hercules and the Incredible Hulk had a contest to see who could tighten this the hardest. I don't know who won, but I lost. Okay. This one is being a pain because it's up under here. I'm, simulating how hard this would be for a normal person. It's made a major pain in the butt for me. So normally all you would need is a 13 millimeter wrench and a pry bar, okay? Because this thing has gotten so over tightened, I'm gonna need maybe an extension. Let's see. Oh, I got this one. All right, so we're still breaking free our alternator bolts. Don't lose interest. Don't change the channel. Don't change the channel. Very soon this will be loose enough. So you have these two bolts on the other side of this bracket. In the center right here, there is the adjuster. You're really going to need or want this extension, okay? And then you basically just loosen this, okay? And then once you get it loose to a certain degree, you'll feel there's like a space between the head of the bolt and the bracket. You want to push down on this. That space will go away. This one has this plastic piece on here, which you can take off. That's really just for protecting the belt. A lot of vans do not have it. So I just loosened this bolt until the point where it came out. That's fine. Whatever. Okay. So now I've got that pushed down to the point where the alternator belt is loose. Okay. Gonna turn that a little bit, turn that off. So that one now is off completely. You want to look it over. There's no cracks or anything, so, and it's in pretty good shape, so we're going to reuse it. Now, we're finally down to this. And some of you folks are like, yeah, that's all I got. And you know what? I'm super happy for you. If you don't have all this other stuff on here, in some ways, it makes your life a lot more simple. So, loosen this bolt right here, okay? Use your pry bar or a big screwdriver to push the alternator over as far as it'll go. And then the belt comes right off. Wow, that was the easiest one ever. Okay, this is usually the one when you start the car up in the morning, it's going all that stuff. You don't want that. Okay, you can see this one. Here's the new one. You can see how different they are as far as thickness goes. Okay, this one is super wore out to this one. Okay, so we're gonna put this new one on, plus it's stretched. So when you put the new one on, okay, you want to thread it down here. It needs to go around the water pump down here. This stupid thing keeps falling down. Put some glue on that or something. It needs to go around the water pump pulley, around this very innermost pulley right here, this one, and then around this pulley here on the alternator. If you have to turn it a little bit to get it on there, so be it. But you want to make sure it's in this backmost pulley here. I've had it where I put it in the center one before by mistake, or it's in between pulleys, or it's behind the big pulley. Yeah, none of that. You don't want none of that. Okay, so we got it to this point. Down under here, there's like a little divot in this mounting thing for the alternator. Put your pry bar or your big screwdriver into that and pry up. And then basically, this thing is almost like a guitar string, okay, in tightness. That's what you want, okay? Believe me, it's gonna loosen up. Okay, so you just want to tighten it. You also want to, then you want to tighten, lock this bolt back again, which I was not doing. I was loosening it. Okay, and you know, it just needs to be tight. So now you see this boing, boing. That's what I do. You can do whatever you want. If you want to make it super loose, but then you're just gonna have to readjust it every 10 minutes. I make it super tight, and then usually you still have to come back and readjust it. So now we're putting the alternator back. Okay, that's going on the center one. Okay, and now that's back on there. Then we're gonna put our alternator, or our, sorry, power steering one back. Okay, again, it has to be threaded down here. This engine seal has to fall down a bunch of times more, because that's all part of it. Okay, and you just thread it onto this very outermost one, and see, now you got your alternator tight. You can just turn the whole motor that way. It needs to be out of gear, and definitely don't leave the key on, because, you know, boom, boom. And then you just kind of turn this sucker back and forth a little bit. Get this in, because, you know, you could do it otherwise, but turning it is usually the easiest way to do it. And once you get that to kind of where you want it, you put this back in here, okay, between the bracket and that. Tighten this up. This doesn't have to be quite as tight as the alternator. It can have a little bit of stuff in it, but whatever. Okay, the alternator thing, like I said, or the power steering, doesn't have to be quite as tight, but you know, it doesn't hurt to be tight. All right, then the final tightness phase 12 is to put your bar here in your AC. That should allow you to kind of give it a little extra, pull that back up kind of where that needs to be, and then you can put this stupid bolt back in that really normally I don't take out. It just happened to come out this time. Okay. Once you get that back, you can set your phasers for stun again, except in tightening mode. Tighten this down. Okay. So that's kind of all there is to it. You know, again, you're tightening this adjuster here on this AC unit until the belt gets, you know, kind of taut, like you're like doing. You can like kind of do that to it, and it kind of feels tight, like a guitar string almost. I mean, you're not gonna play a banjo solo on it or nothing, but okay. So that's kind of where that is. So once it gets to that point, you know, it's pretty daggone tight right now. Hear it? Doing, doing. Okay, I can play my boom, 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 boom. Playing my little is you is or is you ain't my baby. Maybe baby found somebody new. Okay. Alright, so once you played your bass fiddle on there, tighten up these two that were a pain to get loose, and everything is done. Okay, like I said, you might want to turn the motor just to confirm that you've got your alternator belt in the proper path. You know, the problem with this is if it breaks, you can take out this oil level dipstick thing. That can cause problems. It actually dries your water pump, so you could lose your cooling. You don't want to do that. Now, if this broke and you're on the side of the road somewhere and this power steering belt is still good, you can actually use this in place of this. Okay, so that's another quick tip, that instead of being, oh, I'm broke down, I have nothing, take this off. Take this off. You can even cut this with a knife if you want, if you're in an emergency situation. And you can move this belt to here and it'll work temporarily. It's slightly shorter, but not much. And that can get you to the house. But if this belt breaks, your alternator light comes on, pull over immediately, because that means your water pump is not turning and you'll blow up your motor. Okay, so that's basically my sweaty tips and tricks on putting an alternator belt onto a Vanagon, taking it off, putting it back on. Hope you enjoyed that. Please like, share, and subscribe. And please join us on Friday. We usually do our live stream. But I hope that helps you guys out. Get more miles per gallon in your van. Have a great day. See you in the next video.
I pressed stop and it acted like it stopped.